What up, boys? We got my road to 205 here. I wanted to make a document for you guys and just show you my whole journey, show you exactly my step-by-step breakdown of what I'm going to do to go from 216.8 now down to 205. Macros, focus, training split, little things, macro manipulation, the background I've had, and then my step-by-step tracker, all that good stuff. And this is going to universally apply to anyone and anything. So specifically, if you're trying to lose fat and gain muscle, this is going to be for you. But if you're trying to lose fat, this is also going to be for you. If you're trying to gain muscle, the concepts are a little bit different, but the principle of tracking it and making a plan like this is still applicable. So I'm going to put this document in the description below as view only. You can go in there. You can go to file here. You can make a copy, and then you can make it as yours, and then just delete obviously all my information and put your own into it. And this is how you make a plan to start pushing yourself to the goal that you want. And then in the end, I'll go to my Notion, and I'll give you guys a little breakdown of how I put this plan basically into my Notion and how I'm going to be following it through there. But let's get into it here. So my goal is 205 pounds lean. Okay, I haven't been 205 since when I first turned 18. I'm 20 now, turning 21 in 4 months. So it's been almost 3 years. The lowest I've gotten on a cut since then was 210, and that was January of 2024, and then February of this year, a couple months ago. And then I gained a couple pounds back and forth between Florida. I didn't stay disciplined, and I honestly gained more fat than I would have liked. I was still staying on my protein, still staying high on that, but I didn't hone in on the last couple weeks of the cut like I should have, because I was constantly back and forth, and that's not an excuse. That's me self-reflecting and telling you guys that I wasn't perfect in that moment. So as of today, this picture was as of this morning. It's Sunday right now. I'm 216.8. Okay, and this plan is going to be from 413 to 713, so it's going to be 12 weeks. And these macros, this is what I'm going to be doing the first 6 weeks. And I'm not going to hit this number of calories, protein, carbs, fat every single day for the first 6 weeks, but this is my plan. And obviously I'm going to have to adjust as we go forward, but this is my initial plan. And this actually, I think I'm going to make this, I changed it down below. I just didn't change it up here. I'll go into it when I'm in the end, but off the rip, calories, 2494. It's aggressive the first couple of weeks. Okay, 5/4, May 4th is going to be the date that I reevaluate the most. But I know I have some fat that needs to be shredded and can be shredded quickly without losing the intensity in my lifts. So I know that I can probably get down to the 211, 210-ish range without really losing the intensity in my lifts, and I can do it quickly, because that's where I was at when I was at the peak of my cut, like that 209, 210, 211-ish range. And I just put some extra fat on. I'm holding some extra water, and that's on me. But now if I'm aggressive on this cut, I'm still staying as active as I am. Is if I'm on this 2494 calorie deficit or calorie system, I'm going to be fine with getting down to that weight. And then in terms of protein, I'm doing 243 per day, 223 grams of carbs per day, 70 grams of fat. I must stay within 100 calories for a minimum of 2 weeks in order to adjust. So like I can't, if I start this today, I can't on Wednesday be like, hey, it's not working. I have to stay within 100 calories for a minimum of 2 weeks if I want to adjust. I can't be 2 weeks in and only follow it for 6 days and be like, no, I have to adjust. No, because you didn't follow it. You know what I mean? So 2 weeks straight, 100 calories within, and that's when I can start to adjust if I need to. My focus, strength on compounds. Compounds are basically where you use multiple muscles in one lift. So bench, barbell row, squat, deadlift, all that good stuff. My focus is strength on those. And absolutely burning myself out on those. Those are going to be the beginning of my lifts for everything. And then I'm going hypertrophy on isolation. So basically just, isolating the muscle while really trying to fatigue it. And it's kind of like a moderate to higher rep range, but maximum intensity. And just trying to destroy the muscle, all about the mind-muscle connection, and constantly just building the muscle. So you'll see what this is. I've been doing this structure for my whole life. And that's, I train strength in the beginning, and I train hypertrophy for the rest. The first workout is usually, the first 1 or 2 workouts is all about strength, and the rest are about hypertrophy. And that's because if you are strong, but you don't look good, then you're lacking on the hypertrophy aspect, or you're lacking on the diet aspect. If you look good, but you can bench a plate for your one rep max, you have a ceiling at how good you can actually look. Okay, if you are increasing your strength and your compounds, your isolation movements, so your curls or your leg extensions or your tricep pushdowns, those are going to increase in strength as well, as long as you're progressively overloading. So if you can higher the ceiling of your strength, you're going to higher the ceiling of your hypertrophy. So you're going to higher the ceiling off the bat with the compounds, and then you're going to slowly higher the ceiling of your hypertrophy, and they're both just going to keep going up rather than focusing on strength for a period, focusing on hypertrophy for a period. And I know people have different viewpoints on this, but this is what's worked for me, and this is what I've done for my whole life. And then I'm going to be carving up 1 to 1.5 hours before every workout. I'm going to be drying carbs the remainder of the day, which means I'm going to be low to moderate in the other 2 meals because I'm going to be eating 3 meals per day. Okay. I'm going to be high protein meals every single meal, at least 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. The highest protein meal will come after the gym in the anabolic window, along with a fast digesting carb to replenish glycogen and speed up my recovery. So at least 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. It'll be more than that, but that's the goal. And then the highest protein meal will come in that anabolic window where I need to refuel my muscles and grow the tissue. Okay, so after you lift, after you have an intense lift, you need to refuel what you just destroyed. And you do that with protein, and that's how you gain lean muscle mass. Okay, so you do it through progressive overload, and then you fill the muscles with protein. And then getting a fast digesting carb maybe like a banana to replenish glycogen, because your glycogen stores are depleted while you're lifting, that speeds up your recovery. And it can also speed up protein synthesis if you put it with protein. So I'm going to be doing that within an hour. The anabolic window, I think, it's people say it's about a half hour. You can, as long as it's within a half hour to an hour, you're going to be fine. But those are going to be my focuses. Okay. And this is really these are the keys, in my opinion, to building muscle and losing fat, is this right here. Okay. In terms of tracking, you guys know how adamant I am about tracking. I put a video yesterday about tracking and how all these professional leagues track the stats of all of their players so intricately, but we can't track what goes into our body. And the sports leagues are so entertaining because every game matters because it's tracked. Every day would matter for you if it was tracked because you're always constantly moving towards a goal, you have a vision, and you have deadlines. So that's what makes tracking so great, and you obviously can just reflect on your progress. So tracking daily through body weight scale, MyFitnessPal, Food Scale, Notion, and Whiteboard. So this is 5 different ways to track, and you can call it excessive if you want, but I'm just very conscious of what I'm putting into my body and very conscious of what I need to do every single day to get to my goal. So I'm going to be getting up, doing the scale every morning, MyFitnessPal every day, the food scale for all my foods to make sure I'm hitting the proper macros. I'm going to be having it on my Notion, and then on my whiteboard here, I got it right here. I have my weight goal. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I write in my weight. I write in the split, and then I write in how intense the workout was. And then I check it off as I go throughout the week. Okay, and then I'm going to be adjusting the calorie count, the macros, and the lifts bi-weekly if need be. But if it doesn't need to be adjusted, then we're not going to adjust it. In terms of my split, okay, so I put out a story a couple days ago. I think it was Monday, and Monday or Tuesday, and I was like, I'm going to be doing a weird split this week. I want to try it out, and I absolutely loved it. So this is going to be the split that I'm going to be rolling with throughout the rest of spring and the beginning of summer into midsummer. And if you see SS, that means superset, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's just doing your sets back to back with no rest. So if I did curls and tricep pushdowns, right after I finish the curls, I go right into tricep pushdowns right away. Okay. So Monday is chest by, and the first thing I'm doing is incline dumbbell bench press, 9975. This is my compound. Incline dumbbell is obviously it's for your upper chest, but you're also getting your front delta in there, your tris in there, getting a little bit of middle chest in there as well. So that's my compound. That's what I'm really trying to hone in on in terms of strength, because my incline is so much weaker than my flat. So that's the goal of these, and it also just makes you look more aesthetically pleasing when you have a bigger upper chest. And my upper chest is big. My chest is big overall, but that's definitely the part where I'm lacking in terms of strength the most. And then flat barbell bench, 11,975. And then real quick, I didn't go over this. The numbers, so 9,975. That means I'm doing 4 sets. The first one's 9, the second one's 9, third one's 7, fourth one is 5. These are targeted rep ranges. Like I'm probably never, maybe 20% of the time I'll actually hit the number that's here, especially in the third and fourth sets. Because if I'm doing incline dumbbell, I have the hundreds up, and I've gotten it for 7, and I'm like, I could probably get this for 5 more. I'm not going to stop at 7. I'm going to get 12. Like do not have limiting beliefs when it comes to these rep ranges. Okay, push yourself. You'd rather get on a set where you have 7 like as your goal. You'd rather get 5, especially if you're training for strength. You'd rather get 5 good ones than get 15 easy-ish ones. You know what I mean? So don't let these limit you. And then flat barbell bench press, this is 11,975. I might change this to 9,753 as we move forward, but this is more of my strength builder. I want this to be more focused on hypertrophy and actually just destroying the chest. So we're leaving this at this right now. And then straight bar curls, 11,997, which is just, there's an easy bar and there's a straight bar. I'm doing the straight bar there. And then we have incline dumbbell flies, supersetted with preacher curls. So incline dumbbell flies are my favorite. They absolutely destroy your chest. And then those along with either you can do seated preacher or standing preacher. It's really up to you. I like the seated machine preacher where it's like plate loaded. And those are going to be 11,997 as well. Then I have hammer curls, 11,997, and then 2 push-up sets to failure. Okay? And you may be wondering why the rep counts are so odd. Like a normal split would look like, say you have this right here. It would look like 10, 10, or no. It would look like 8, 8, 6, 4. I psychologically do one more rep than I'm supposed to do. And I learned that from the book, The Power of One More. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot. That psychological aspect, knowing I'm doing one more than everyone else is doing, really helps me, really benefits me, and I do it in all aspects of life. So that's why these rep counts are so unorthodox, okay? And between the mental and the actual physical aspect of you doing one extra rep, cumulatively, it makes a huge difference, okay? Tuesday, back plus side and rear delt and tries. Reverse pec deck, 16, 13, 11, 9. That's this one where the pec deck is where you're seated and you're going like this, but you're just turning around facing the chest supported, and you're doing it the opposite way for your rear delt. Then we have lat pull down, 9,975. The lat pull down and the barbell row, they're kind of like both of the strength builders of this workout. So we're going to be going real heavy on these. And then dumbbell lateral raise, 11,997. This is more hypertrophy based. Tricep push down, supersetted with tricep overhead extension. So that's, they're both rope, tricep rope push down, tricep rope overhead extension. Single arm dumbbell row, 3 sets, 997. Dips, 11,997 if I can get that. And then IYT 1 to failure, which is just you're doing 1 rep straight out to the side, 1 rep 45 degrees, and then 1 rep straight in front of you. Wednesday is quads, and we're starting with hip abductors and adductors, 11, 11, 11. Barbell squat, 9, 7, 7, 5, 3. 5 sets of them. We're going really heavy. I'm going to be carbing up a ton before this lift because legs takes the most out of me. So as long as I carb up the most before, I'm going to burn the most calories anyway, and I want to make sure that I'm my highest energy, my highest focus, and I get a really good lift. And then leg press, low stance. Low stances for quads, higher stances for hamstrings. So we're going to be doing low stance here. Goblet squat, 11,997. Leg extensions, 21, 21, 21. And with this, the 21, 21, 21, I'm going to be doing 7 on my right, like 7 single leg with my right, 7 single leg with my left, and then 7 full with both legs. And that's how I got the 21. Thursday I'm going to have off. Friday I'll have chest shoulders, which again we're going back to incline dumbbell bench press. We're doing this twice a week, and we're in hopes of really, really growing the upper chest. I might change this to 9,753 or 9,775 or 9,755, again, because we're trying to build strength in it. But I also want to make sure that we're getting a good pump from it and we're really growing and tearing that muscle as well. Right after, we got DB shoulder press 9975. This is a strength builder as well it's like a compound for your shoulders, but I'm less worried about going really, really heavy on it and more worried about isolating every single part of the shoulder rather than letting myself get other parts of the body into this workout. And then incline dumbbell flies, hypertrophy focused. Seated lateral raises, supersetted with seated front raises, hypertrophy focused, destroy your muscles. Plate loaded press, which you guys may have seen this on my story. Basically, you have one plate, you do it for 20 reps, you're pushing it like this when you have your hands on the outside of it. Someone puts another plate on top of you, 15 reps. Someone puts another one on top of you, 15 reps. Someone takes that one off, so you have two on you, 15 reps. Someone takes that second one off you, 20 reps. Okay? So it's like one plate, two plates, three plates, two plates, one plate. Okay? And adjust it to you. If you can't do 1, 2, 3 plates, do one plate, 125, 125. Or just do it with 25, 25, 25. There is a way you can do it no matter what. And then we have IYTs, 3 sets, 21, 21, 21. And the way I do these is like, it's odd. The rep count is weird because you're doing, like, this is one rep, all three way. And then sometimes, like, I count it as this is one rep. So it's weird. You can either do this, 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but the way I'm doing it is 1 right here, 2, 3, and I get to 21. And then I have 2 sets of push-ups to failure. And then Saturday is back arms. Okay, this is what I hit last night. Reverse pec deck again. We're starting with that. Then we're doing pull-ups, 9975. Lat pull-downs, 9975. Dumbbell skull crushers, supersetted with incline curls. Dumbbell skull crushers are probably my second favorite tricep movement, right behind close grip bench. It's just a really good mass builder, as long as you have the right form. Close grip bench is by far my favorite tricep because, again, just the mass you can build, the isolation along with the strength that you can build in your triceps from doing close grip bench is awesome. And I actually don't have it on here because I've been doing it for months now. Like, that's been my first tricep workout for a while. So dumbbell skull crushers, superset with incline curls, and then we have straight bar tricep push downs. You can go a lot heavier on these than you think, and then supersetting those with hammer curls. And then we have single arm JPGs, which is it's an isolation lat movement. So if you go down on one knee, you have a handle on a cable. You're pulling the cable down while you're on one knee and pulling it down here while you're holding your lat. Slow on the way up, fast on the concentric, slow on the eccentric, and constantly like this. Okay, that's 11.97, and then 3 sets of preacher curls, 11.97 as well. Battery dying? I know we're good. And then Sunday we got legs. That's what I got today. Hip abductors, 11, 11, 11. Barbell squat, 97753. Again, we're going heavy on those. Dumbbell RDL, 11.997 for the hamstrings. Goblet squat, 11.997 for the quads. 5 sets of leg extensions, 4 sets of hamstring curls, 4 sets of seated calf raises. And I have calves at the end of this workout. I'm really only hitting 4 sets of calves per week, which really isn't great. I should probably add 2 extra sets of calves in my quad day, but I want to see how it goes. And I already have pretty big calves. I'm more focused on getting my quads and my hamstrings intact, and definitely my quads. So that's my number one priority right now, and you can't prioritize every single muscle all at the same time. So what am I looking for here? Progressive overload and emphasis on quick recovery. When you're not eating a ton of carbs and you're trying to stay in a calorie deficit, when you eat the food is much more important. So if I was eating 500 grams of carbs per day, I wouldn't be super worried about making sure that I get, my carbs in 60 to 90 minutes before I lift, because I have so many carbs in me. I'm constantly stronger, more focused, have more energy because I have so much more food in me, so much more fuel, that it doesn't matter as much. But when I am only having what I think it's 223 carbs, is that what it is? 223 carbs per day, I need to be really conscious of when I'm actually eating them and make sure that I get enough in so that I can progressively overload on my lifts. So I need to make sure that I can get in. I you know the amount that you get in depends on who you are, but for me, I'm going to be getting in anywhere from 40 to 75-ish grams of carbs right before my, like an hour to an hour and a half before my lift, to make sure that I can have the best lift and to make sure that I can actually progress, move forward, increase the weight on my sets, and overall just build more muscle. And then emphasis on quick recovery as well. I need to make sure that I'm recovering quickly because I'm going 6 days a week on low carbs. Okay, so I need to be adamant about getting in my protein right after and my digestible carb after, so that I can recover quickly and I can get to the next workout. So that's super important. In terms of cardio, you guys know I do my fasted cardio every morning, burning 200 calories on the incline treadmill, 11.0 to 13.0 incline, 3.0 speed, and then I'll do a 5-minute run at the end on a 3.0 to 5.0 incline on 5 to 9 speed. It is 7 a.m. right now. After I finish this video, I got to prepare for the client calls today, and then I'm going to go hit that. Normally, I would hit it right after I finish my morning routine, but today I wanted to make sure I got this YouTube video done and ready to go before I went out and did it. So when I finish this, I'll get some client stuff done, and then I'll go and do that. But I'm going to be doing this every single day. And this is more about the mental aspect of it for me, but it also helps with metabolism, and obviously having the extra calories to get into if I need to is nice to have as a like a backup plan. So the 90-10 rule, which I'll come down to here as well. The 90-10 rule. So there's a thing called the 80-20 rule that I abided by for a little while, where it's basically 80% of the time you're eating what you're supposed to, and then 20% of the time you can kind of eat whatever you want. And I didn't abide by this so intricately, but I had a general idea of it. And now I've got it down to a science, and I'm doing the 90-10 rule because I really want to get shredded, and I think it's sustainable. Okay, so I'm eating 3 meals per day right now. There's 7 days in a week, which means there's 21 meals per week. I'm going to multiply that by the 90%, 0.9, and you get 18.9. So that means 19 of the meals I have to eat what I'm supposed to fulfill the 90-10 rule, which means that 2 meals out of the week I can eat what I want. And that doesn't mean I can have 3 ice creams. That means I can eat what I want in the general vicinity of the macros that I need to be getting. Okay? And you can apply this with 80-20, you can apply this with 90-10. It's really up to you, but I wanted to bring it down to a science so you guys could understand. And then in terms of food, let me change this actually real quick. This is supposed to be 8 ounces, and this is supposed to be 8 ounces. All right, so first meal. This is going to be post-fasted cardio and post-deep work block. 4 to 6 eggs, 1 cup of raspberries or blackberries, 1 scoop of whey, and then an occasional cup of rice, okay? If the first meal is also the pre-workout meal, same thing, but I'll have an extra cup of rice. The macros on this is 772 calories, 63 grams of protein, 70 grams of carbs, and that's included as if I had 1 cup of rice, and then 27 grams of fat, okay? Second meal. This could come if I go to the gym after my first meal. This will come right after that. But it also could come pre-gym. 8 ounces of ground beef. It's going to be 93.7 ground beef, or chicken tenderloins, which are extremely high in protein, minimal carbs and fats, with white rice and a scoop of whey isolate. Okay. If this is the pre-workout meal, I'll add another cup of rice. If this is the post-workout meal, I'll add some extra chicken and a simple sugar or fast-digesting carb to make sure that I'm recovering quickly. The macros on this, 656 calories, 75 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, and 18 grams of fat. And this is also as if I was doing just the one cup of rice. Third meal, same exact thing. I'm going to put 93.7 here as well. Same exact thing, except I'm having a cup of berries instead of the scoop of whey isolate. And these might switch depending on when my workout is. Like if I'm doing my workout right after the second meal, I'll probably have the cup of berries instead of the isolate, and I'll have the isolate after the workout and my third meal. But if it's like this, it's structured where, I have my first meal, I do my workout, my second meal is my post-workout meal, and then my third meal is just my dinner. This is how it would be structured. So this will almost never be my pre-workout meal. But if it was, I'd add another cup of white rice. Okay. If this is the post-workout meal, I'll add some extra chicken and a simple sugar. Macros: 556 calories, 81 grams of protein, 52 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat. Okay. And then with all of that, the total on all of this would be 1984 calories, 219 grams of protein, 172 grams of carbs, and 48 grams of fat. Okay. So I still have like 500, I have it right here, 510 calories remaining, 24 grams of protein, 51 grams of carbs, and 22 grams of fat. And all of this is under the assumption that I am only having like that 1 cup of rice, or that I'm not having those extra carbs for the pre-workout. So if I was to have the extra carbs, say I add an extra 20 grams of carbs into one of these meals, or an extra half a cup to cup of rice, that's anywhere from 22.5 to 45 grams of carbs. So this is going to be good to go. That's going to be fulfilled in one of these. Okay. I have 24 grams of protein left. That's the most important number. If there's one number I want to leave out, it's the fat number. I still want to make sure I'm getting adequate fat, at least 0.3 per day. You want to be getting 0.4, which is grams per pound of body weight. The 24 grams of protein number, as long as I just have one extra, scoop of whey isolate, or an extra yogurt, or even if that's like, I have some snacks down here, yogurt. I can do rice cakes with almond butter if I want to, if I have some extra remaining calories. But as long as I'm doing like whey isolate, an extra Greek yogurt, or it's like some extra protein here, some extra chicken or some extra ground beef in one of these meals, that 24 grams is not a difficult number to hit, and that'll be good to go. And then in terms of the fat, I am a big almond butter guy. So if I want to fulfill that fat goal, I'll just have some rice cakes with some almond butter, because the rice cakes are barely any calories. I forget exactly how much one is. I want to say like 25 or 30. And then having like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of almond butter, that'll do the trick. And this is it. This is what I'm going to be following. And again, this has always been the baseline. Again, the meal structure has been at different times, but this has been the baseline. And then the remaining is really up to me. As long as I don't go over this, I stay within the vicinity, stay within 100-ish calories, we'll be good to go. And it's inevitable that I hit the goal, because it's math. Okay. And is it boring? Yes. Is it effective? Yes. Okay. Boring is good, especially when you can do it for a long time. This is so effective because of tracking purposes. Okay, you know that when you go into MyFitnessPal, you know exactly what you're eating every single day. So it takes the thinking out of it for you. You can just go and you can input it right away. You no longer have to think about it. It's right there in front of you, right there for you. You just click the buttons. Okay. This is more of like the tracking side of things. But the 413 weight, 216.8, you guys know that. And I have my weight goal for every single week coming after this. So my 420 weight goal, 214. It's steep. 2.8 pounds in a week is steep, but I know I have extra fat that I can burn with also maintaining the intensity and the strength of my lifts. So 2.8 pounds in a week is not that crazy. I do think I can hit it by April 20th. If I don't, then I'll be okay. But I want to shoot big for this week, because I know it'll get me off to a good start. It'll give me some momentum, and I can definitely hit it. Then from there, I want to lose 2 pounds the following week, 2 pounds the following week. And then this is where I really need to hone in and make sure that I'm on the right track. Okay, so at this point, I would have lost 7 pounds of fat in less than a month. I really need to make sure that I'm still hitting the lifts correctly, getting enough protein in, progressively overloading, all that good stuff. That stuff is so important. Okay, so see where I'm at. If I'm at 210 here and I'm still, fucking feeling myself, high energy, high focus, great lifts, progressively overloading, my mood is still good, I'll probably keep the same amount of calories, the same macros, maybe, do a maintenance phase for a week to make sure that I'm good, like I'm solidified at 210, I can start coming back down again. But ideally, from that point on, we're just losing 1 pound per week until June 8th. Again, this is not going to be perfect. Like, I'm not going to hit every single number perfectly this week, but it is math. So it's directional action. I'm taking directional action on my goal, and as we move forward, we'll adjust as we need to. Okay, so 2 pounds, so 2.8 pounds, then 2 pounds per week until May 4th, then 1 pound per week until June 8th. And then I have a phase two here. This is the first 8 weeks. Then I have phase two here, which is just the last four. And that's going to be determined based on where I am on June 8th. And then where I am on June 8th, I'll figure out phase two. I'll probably know what I'm going to be doing on phase two by the time June 1st comes around, because like I'll know where I'm at on June 8th if I know where I'm at on June 1st. And then we'll plan for the final 4 weeks of the phase, the final 4 weeks of the program, and we'll be good to go. But that's really it, guys. I'm going to leave this document in the description below. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment, DM me, do what you got to do. Hope you guys took some value from this. This is what I'm going to be following for the next 3 months, so take advantage of it. We'll go from there. And then any other questions, feel free to let me know. But take action on this. Put it in your own terms. Put it in your own goals, and you're going to succeed. I'll talk to you guys.